Farouk, great to see you. Been so long.
It is
I'm
my
very
pleasure, Arthur. Good to see you as well.
Likewise, very excited talking about the real estate market in Dubai. But let's start maybe with an introduction. I start first, if you don't mind. So I'm Artur Loginov, CEO of Drumelia Real Estate in Marbella. We work in the high-end niche of the market. We do about 40 to 60 sales, average price ticket 3.5 million, and a team of 25 people. I've been in the business since I was 18 years old, and now I'm the CEO and one of the owners of the company. But yeah, that's us. Tell me a little bit about you, Farooq. Well, I mean, your company is way bigger.
So, we're doing so. You are in the luxury segment. We are in every segment in real estate. So, we've been lucky enough in Dubai. We've been in the business since 2008. So, 18 years in the real estate market. I myself started at a young age, like yourself. We have a team of about 240 people across the two Emirates of Dubai. We have offices in Dubai and an office in Abu Dhabi as well. And we deal in different segments, primarily in the investment and off-plan segment, where we're selling real estate directly from developers. We're in property management as well. So we take care of the entire life cycle of a client from the moment he purchases something to handovers, rentals, management, and the entire life cycle of real estate.
Amazing. So you're really the person on the ground to talk about this. But before we start, I just want to throw in one comment. About 5 years ago, I was in Dubai with my wife. Back then she was my girlfriend, and you welcomed us, and you welcomed us in such a nice and human and and warm manner. It was very special. You gave us so much time of your attention, and I just wanted to again, 5 years have passed, but I still remember the way you are as a person and how you treated us. Just to say thank you for that. And
Well, it was my pleasure. It's been 5 years. I can't imagine it's been 5 years.
approximately,
Time.
approximately.
Wow, wow, it's been
But
a
time
while.
flies.
But it was
Great.
my pleasure. You guys are doing a phenomenal job. Your house tours are phenomenal. For people that are watching this on my YouTube channel, you guys got to go and check out Archer's
Likewise.
Drumeli Estate.
Likewise.
Their houses are on another level. Like what you guys are doing over there is phenomenal. It
Thank you,
is.
Farooq.
It's
Thank you.
Hollywood. It's
Thank
Hollywood
you.
material.
That's why even more I wanted to have this conversation with you, and hopefully we can provide real insights, value to people listening, because I have a lot of conversation with loads of clients about what's going on in Dubai. A lot of our clients live in Dubai permanently and visit Marbella sometimes. And I'm guessing there's a lot of also, I mean, a lot of opinions are eventually being built up on outside media, on outside conversation, and not always you're able to speak to someone on the ground. So let's start with a very simple question then. What is happening in the Dubai real estate market?
So, Arthur, like you said, there's a lot happening right now. Today is, for reference, it's 8th of April. There was a big
Hmm.
announcement today, yesterday, last 2 days. I think there was a lot of tension in the air, especially in the Middle East, after what Trump had said on his Truth Social accounts. But last night, which was 8 p.m. Eastern time, but in Dubai, it was about 5 a.m. in the morning. There was another announcement that there's been a ceasefire agreement for 2 weeks. So it was a sigh of relief for everyone in Dubai, in the Middle East in general. And to be honest, there is tension on the ground between the people. But one thing that we're very lucky is the way the leadership over here has taken hold of the entire situation. There's been literally zero to none in terms of damage that's actually happened on the ground. Of course, there's been like few debris falling here and there from intercepted missiles, but there's been over 2,500 drones, ballistic missiles, cruise missiles sent to the UAE. All right. And each and every one has been intercepted that was falling within the cities of Dubai and Abu Dhabi and the other Emirates as well. So pretty much there's been few, of course, debris falling here and there. I think the death toll has unfortunately climbed to about 8 people as of today in
Hmm.
40 days. So rest in peace for those people. But overall, there's not been any massive alarming. I think the first 2 weeks, when this geopolitical
Yeah,
tension started, there
yeah.
was a lot of stress. People were worried what is going to happen. But now it's been nearly 40 days or 39 days that we've been into this conflict. And now the people that had sort of taken off for a few weeks or have come back. The city is sort of getting back to usual. I wouldn't say it's business as usual because, of course, we don't have any tourists as much as what we're
Hmm.
generally used to. Traffic on the streets is much less. So Dubai has actually become a 15-minute city. You can get from one place to another in 15 minutes. The traffic has gone down a lot. The tourism market is, of course, suffering over the last 40 days. The hotels have not been doing too well. In terms of real estate, I wouldn't say things have been as usual. Of course, we are coming from 4 years of a very, very strong market performance.
Hmm.
So March has sort of been on standstill.
Yeah.
Anyone that was making a decision has sort of paused.
Yeah, that's normal, I guess. Yeah.
A lot of brokers had left for, out of the country, out of, scare of what's happening. Many of them have come back. And then, of course, we had the holy month of Ramadan, which is also a
Hmm.
little bit of a quiet time because a lot of people are fasting. Our work hours are much shorter. And then we had the Eid break, which is generally a 5, 6 day holiday as well. So these are slightly quieter times in
Yeah.
Dubai real estate in general. And then, of course, with this situation going on, it became even more quieter. So I think right now is a good opportunity for anyone that is looking to buy whatever you were buying in January or February or looking at. Right now, you can get a real haircut on those prices. So there is going to be transactions starting up, kicking off from this month onwards, especially now that tensions are sort of easing. We're hoping that
Yeah.
activity will start a lot faster. And overall, the market's been fairly resilient,
Hmm.
where there's a lot of equity in the market. So a lot of owners are holding off.
Yeah.
Like buyers are holding off, owners are holding off as
Yeah.
well. So the sellers are not breaking the price. Maybe it's too soon. Maybe it's been a month and 10 days. So sellers are not going to the market and shaving off 30% of their asking price and just trying to get out. So they're
Hmm.
in the first 2 weeks, maybe there were some, what buyers said, distress deals out there where people were
Okay.
just ready to just get out. But I think even a lot of those owners have realized, wait a second, I don't think things are bad.
Hmm.
There's not no real destruction happening over here. It's
Hmm.
more of the headlines and the international media that is spreading a lot of scare. But on ground in Dubai, the restaurants are open, the malls are open, the clubs are open, offices are open. Our leader, Sheikh Mohammed bin Rashid Al Maktoum, in his last few Instagram posts, he's been seen at the Dubai Mall multiple times, walking around, having a coffee. He's gone for the Dubai World Cup. We hosted the World Cup here as well, which was the horse racing World Cup. I was there as well. I happened to see him and his son, who is the crown prince. This is a real show of confidence that if your ruler is out and about on the streets, in the mall, you can walk up to him. It is a real show of strength that they are
Absolutely.
confident about their defense. They're not gone on in hiding somewhere. They are out on the street. The World Cup was held open air at the Maidan race course. He was walking around. So it shows the people, it gives a lot of confidence to us as residents here as well, that if the Sheikh is at the mall, we can go to the mall.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So had resumed and has resumed for the residents. Um, I wouldn't say, like I said, not life as normal or business as normal. There is that air of tension in the air because
Hmm.
this is something we've never experienced in the past. This is new for us. All right. So it is going to have some effect on the real estate market. There is going to be a little bit of a softening in terms of values that we're predicting. We believe prime locations, scarcity-driven assets, areas that have a strong rental demand will be more resilient. Newer developments will have, softer demand because a lot of your international buyers might not have that confidence right now, or for the next 6 to 9 months or foreseeable future. But one thing that we believe, just to
Yeah.
summarize what I just said, is that we believe in our leadership and we believe in the marketing machines of Dubai, which have done a phenomenal job over the last couple of decades. The people over here, the leadership over here knows how to market Dubai internationally, and I think the marketing engines will start at full speed. The residents over here have shown a lot of resilience. They've shown a lot of support in the first few weeks on Instagram. You probably saw those videos where everyone was posting their love for the leadership. And let me tell you, I'm quite active on social media myself. Nobody paid anybody. We have a genuine love for this country. I mean, I've lived here my whole life. I'm from Pakistan, but I've lived in Dubai my whole life. So I consider this my first home. And a lot of residents, because 80 to 90% of the population here is an expat population.
Yeah.
The Emirati population is only 10 to 20%.
Hmm.
All right. It's a very small population, and over here, the expat population is very strong. And we are very patriotic towards Dubai. When all of this is happening, we are very emotional. We are very,
Of
it's like
course.
someone that takes our home.
Of course.
So I feel like the people have shown a lot of support for the government, also because the government has done such a phenomenal job. It is love that comes because of their actions,
Yeah. Yeah.
because of the fact that we believe they have our best interests at heart.
I think it's amazing when you have such leadership that shows confidence by example and transmits such security to people. I think that that's absolutely amazing. Of course, everyone right now that is, well, everyone, I'm sure, hopes for this to end as soon as possible. I mean, it's I don't even know what the right word is. Like a mix of astonishment and feeling sorry, maybe. Um, And but I'm getting so I understand that you said there the vendors who are pausing makes a lot of sense. So and again, it all depends like how long this takes. Yeah, the sooner this finishes, the faster, because unfortunately, for the good or for the bad, I think we live in a world where everything is so much connected and so many news are happening in the world that news become old very fast. I know maybe it's strange even to say that at this moment, but we've seen that in the past. So I think part of the effect that this might have will depend on how long it lasts.
True.
Um, and hopefully it doesn't anymore. We all hope for that. Um, so what you said there about the vendors kind of pausing, not dropping the prices seems very logical. I'm sure there are like probably more singular bargains happening, somebody that needs like
There
cash
are.
out, that kind of
True.
stuff.
There's people that are different levels of the segment of on the spectrum of being worried about this current
Yeah.
situation.
Yeah.
There's few people that are just out and about. They don't care. They know nothing's going to happen. They have almost a blind trust in the government and in Dubai and the security and defense system, which is including myself. I'm out and
Yeah.
about every day, going about with my life. And then there's people that are locked up in their homes and they don't want to step out.
Yeah.
So those guys are the ones that might, worry at this point and
Yeah.
then,
I mean,
are ready to sell
it,
on it. But there's not too many of those.
in my case, for example, I have quite a lot of clients that I talk to who have a lifestyle where they own a property in Dubai and they usually spend there like maybe 6 months maximum. And then they own another two
Yeah.
properties, one in Marbella and another one maybe somewhere like maybe Austria or Sweden or UK. Well, not really, but sort of. So those type of clients, they just kind of, I don't, none of them are talking about selling their assets distressed. They did leave as soon as they could, and they just kind of, okay, for this year we're gonna stay in Europe. Next year we'll see. We are getting a little bit of traction of clients from Middle East interested in potentially buying a property in Marbella, but like a little bit. We hired one agent from a Dubai real estate agency.
Nice, nice, nice.
So there is
I
some
think you
sort of
will. I think you will
shift
see
and
interest. I
moves.
think,
Yeah,
like you said, there are going to be some high net worth individuals in Dubai that are potentially looking to
yeah, yeah,
diversify at a level that some of them might not have considered before. And
yeah.
what nicer place than Marbella to own a house or, in
Sure.
different parts
Yeah.
of you guys sell real estate, So these are
And
all places that I think more people will look at now.
yeah, and speaking about the real estate market, so it's possible to find some good distressed sales if you really search for them. General market, there's prices are not going down generally. People are holding the prices. And the expectation, what I mean, it's impossible to say what's going to happen, like everything in life. but I'm getting the feeling, and please correct me, and what is it that you think? That in a way it's like, okay, maybe we're looking into a market that will be very, very slow for the next 3 months to six or two, I don't know. But
Yeah.
then probably it picks up next year, maybe not to the exactly same level, but close, and then it just starts rolling again. Again, this is just what I'm trying to read between the lines, but tell me, please, what are your feelings? Like,
All
and
right.
and then if you can, or we jump to that, like, also like if you have an owner now that comes to you and says, "I want to put my house for sale," what you recommend to him? Or if you have a buyer that comes says, "I want to buy something," what do you recommend to them?
All right. So first, let me address your first point about the deals that are out there. So 4 to 5 weeks now that we're into this conflict, there are people that are willing to get out. Businesses are affected. So anyone that has anything to do with tourism industry is very badly affected. Hotel owners or anyone that is potentially a supplier to a hotel, or if you have, I don't know, a car rental business that is linked to tourism industry, or you own a desert camp, or you own any activity that is
Yeah,
tourism or anything along the chain of tourism is badly affected. So there are
like
owners
COVID
of those
almost,
businesses, exactly, especially with the tourism market.
the
Anyone
tourism.
that's
Yeah.
part of the real estate side of things, which are two very big industries. Thirdly, the third industry that is also badly affected is your shipping and logistics businesses. Those guys are affected. So a bunch of these guys also own a lot of real estate. So many of those will be looking to sell real estate in the near future because their businesses are affected. So we do realize that this is going to have an effect on the market. Vendors or developers are right now willing to negotiate. I mean, these are developers that, I've been working with for nearly 2 decades now, and I can tell you that right now they're willing to negotiate like they were back in COVID. If you
Mhm.
are a buyer today in Dubai, you can walk into most of the private developers and request for a discount. You can request for some sort of waivers. There are certain developers that are giving anywhere from 3-4% discount, which are the big developers, going up to even 10 to 15% discount for new projects.
And what was the
Because
discount before this happened? Like, what could you expect?
no discount. I
No
mean,
discount.
uh, I mean, if a client walked into my office and said that I want to buy a new development that is being launched in Dubai, and
Yeah,
I want to change the payment plan.
yeah,
Unfortunately, we would have to explain to the clients that these are non-negotiable terms.
gotcha.
Most
Yeah,
developers were working on non-negotiable terms because of the demand. If you're launching 1,000 units and you have 3,000
no, no,
buyers,
of course,
we're
everyone knows
almost
these
doing them
stories.
a,
Yeah,
we're almost doing them a favor,
yeah,
or the developer felt they're almost doing the buyer a favor by giving them the unit.
yeah,
So there is no discussion about
sure.
top tier government-led developers.
Yeah,
Today, their offices have been empty or they've not been seeing any traction, and they're
yeah,
realizing this is going to have an effect for the next, it could be 6 months, it could be 9 months, it could be 12 months, because
yeah,
recovery also takes time. It's not
of
that
course.
people are going to forget this overnight. Even if the war ends today, and like you correctly mentioned, it depends on how long this war goes on for. But let's say this war ends today, it will still take 6 to 9 months for people to get out of this trauma, to forget what happened,
Yeah,
and to move. Like, I know Dubai does a phenomenal job in, reinvigorating the economy. We're one of the richest countries. UAE has one of the largest sovereign wealth funds. So there's absolutely no shortage in money that the government has in order to spend to reinvigorate the economy. However, we rely a lot in real estate to the overseas buyers that were coming into Dubai and the population increase which was happening, for which the developers were planning all of this supply. Because every year, if we had 200 to 400,000 people moving to Dubai, the entire world was moving to Dubai.
yeah,
That rate of increase is going to slow down for this year. You might even see some negative growth potentially this year for people that lose their jobs, for industries that are badly hit. Companies are starting to lay off employees in certain
Mhm.
sectors. So there is a challenge. We can't ignore this challenge. So, because of this reason, we believe the fundamentals of the city are very strong. And there
Yeah.
is going to be a very, very strong comeback, like you said, let's say, if not in 9 months, maybe in 12 months or whenever. So people that are buying today are going to be real winners in this
Yeah.
market,
Yeah.
are going to see their capital appreciate. And like I said, if you are a buyer with cash today, you can negotiate your terms, which
Yeah.
I think is something that was not
So
possible.
So I'm guessing that, so for example, if you're an owner that comes to you and wants to sell this house now, I mean, I guess, correct me, the recommendation is either wait a year or 6 months, or
Yeah,
let's see, or if you do need to sell now and you can't wait, then maybe we're listing it officially at the similar prices as we did, but unofficially you're gonna have to accept a discount, logically.
100%. Exactly.
And the
Yesterday,
but yeah,
I had an owner. I'll just share a quick story. He was listing his house um, over 50 million dirhams. I had a nice chat with him yesterday. He, of course, realizes that we're in a situation. This is obviously very, very nice, high quality construction, beautiful villa in one of the islands called Pearl Jumeirah in Dubai. And he realizes that, he didn't want to reduce his listing price, but he's willing to take
yeah,
roughly a 10 to 15% haircut on his price.
yeah, yeah. Absolutely. And then I can imagine, yeah, if the properties are less special or less unique, maybe in some cases discount can
Higher.
be higher. And the buyers, yes, probably the buyers are not the typical buyers that are the typical buyer. It's more like if you want to kind of play the game and risk a bit, today for sure you can get the best possible price, or maybe, yeah, and then in a year time feel like a winner. But also not every buyer is wired like that. Even though
True.
I would guess there's a
Everyone's risk
decent,
appetite is different.
yeah, but I would guess, for example, that that risk appetite is better perceived by within Dubai, like for either like for example somewhere buying like Marbella, it's too small, so it gives you it would give you more fear. Whilst Dubai, it's Dubai. Like okay, if it's not in a year, if it's not in two, like like it's always will be
Hopefully,
Dubai. Yeah, yeah. Cool. And tell me one thing, by the way, also very interested. You mentioned off plan.
yes.
And actually, myself, a funny story. Well, you know it, but I'll share it in case it's interesting for anyone. We were talking, I was literally not buying the tickets to Dubai, but planning the trip for that off-plan units that we were discussing. I was very excited about in that new
Development.
which is, I mean, I'm not an expert even close, but from what I study the market, that area, that new corner that is being built out, seems like the future luxury spot of Dubai.
That is
Very
right.
cool, very cool. And unfortunately, those plans were postponed, not entirely though, and that's why this question is even more interesting for me. Like, if a client wants to buy off plan today, because he maybe what he wants he can't find on the market, like, I mean, I would imagine that if I put myself in the shoes of that buyer, like for me to commit to an off-plan development and put some money down the line, first I would expect the best possible discount for sure. But what like are the guarantees from the developer for my money bulletproof? Like, or what type of guarantees do developers provide nowadays if I make a choose a unit and make a 10% down payment from the price for a unit that's supposed to be built in 4 years or 3 or 2 or whatever.
All right. So there's the first layer of protection, which is all the money that an investor pays in Dubai when buying off plan goes into an escrow account of that project. So if you're buying a property, let's say from Emar, then the money goes into Emar's escrow account. It doesn't go into their corporate account. That money is managed by the Dubai Land Department, and it can only be used for that particular development. It can't be used for any other building. That's the first layer. all of these accounts are well managed by the Dubai Land Department. So they overlook every stage of construction. Only once a developer has reached, let's say, 20% of construction, only then are those or part of those funds released to the developer. So they overlook the entire process of construction and they release those payments in stages to the buyer. In terms of the protection or the current market scenario, it is like you mentioned earlier, it's uncharted territory for us as well. However, we've been giving guarantees from the government and the land department that any sort of risk is going to be absorbed by the developer, by the government. The Dubai Land Department is going to be supporting entire market to sort of come back up. So they are, even over here, if there's been any damage, and I'll share this story because people probably looking online and wondering what happens if something hits my apartment, especially at a time like right now. Am I protected? I'll just share an example with you. I know some person that was, there was some small little debris, damage that happened at a property. The government said, we will take care of everything. You have nothing to worry about.
Knowing the stories of Dubai probably
Yeah.
left it better than before.
They said it's good. They said you have a slightly older property. We're going to make a brand new, and we're going
Yeah.
to give it to you. Don't worry. And some people that were affected by this, they gave them apartments on the beach, literally, while they're waiting for
Crazy.
their property to get fixed up. So
Okay.
that sort of protection, people have this sort of blind trust in the leadership
Mhm.
because the direction of the country has remained steady for the past 50 years. The
Yeah.
policies have changed. The governments, there's no Democrats and Republicans that every 4 years you're guessing what direction the country is going to take. The direction has been very, very positive, and it's been, they have a very mature strategy when it comes to protecting the interests of the expat population and, most importantly, the investors. So, as long as you're, especially if you're investing with the top tier developers, a lot of your top tier developers in the UAE are government backed or government owned.
Okay.
So that's number one. You have Imar, which is government backed. Then you have Meras, which is 100% government owned. Then you have Nakhil, which is 100% government owned. Then the H&H Developments, which is 100% government owned. So pretty much your top 10 developers on your more of your top end areas are government owned or they're publicly listed companies which are government backed, which means a part of these companies are government owned.
Okay.
So they're very well managed and it's
Okay.
pretty much 100% that they will deliver a
Okay.
good product.
So, perfect. Understood. Just wanna, because I'm literally speaking to that client still, and we're talking about this. Maybe it's a good moment to buy now. And he was interested in quite a special unit. So just to clarify 1 second for myself, and then we can move on, and probably we're coming soon to an end. Um, I understand the concept of the escrow accounts. Perfect, amazing. But then, so the buyer always puts themselves and they say, what if the worst happens? It's the typical buyer question. And what if the development starts halfway through and some of the money has been released to build it? Is there already some policies applied from the government, like extra protection layers, or do you think this is something that could be spoken in each case one by one? Like, kind of, whatever happens, I don't want to lose my money.
Yeah, fair enough. So I think, like I mentioned, the top tier government
Yeah.
developers, I would say, are bulletproof, 100% sure. Even, the worst comes, they are backed by the government and they will deliver. When it
Okay.
comes to or lower tier developers, that's where you could have some sort of execution risk.
Okay.
Because if developments are, it is a company that is trying to manage their cash flows. If, for example, there's been some sort of shift in the market values, prices go down by 30%, buyers stop paying into the escrow account, a developer is unable to manage those funds, and of course, it could be a bit more riskier.
Okay.
In this case, the government can make sure that the funds in the escrow account are used for the construction, but they can't guarantee that a high quality product is going to get delivered. So there is risks. I think, especially right now, there'll be more people aligned to go for the government developers. However, the
Sure.
discounts and the offers are more with the private
Like,
developers.
of course, like always. That's why risk pays off sometimes.
Exactly.
Fantastic, Farouk. Well, I mean, I think we kind of covered the basic, most interesting questions. If there's anything else that you think we missed or that you want to add or something else that is relevant to...
I think we've covered it more or less. I think previously you were asking me about the prediction for this year and
Yes.
where you think the Dubai real estate market will head. I think this year, we might see, of course, it's still up in the air. Nobody knows
Hmm.
the answer as to when this situation will end. But they've built such a beautiful city. It's taken 20, 30 years to build what Dubai has built. It's not an overnight success story.
Yeah,
The defense systems have proven that they are excellent. They're working round the clock to make sure that Dubai and its residents are secure. Flights have resumed. Schools are now going to start, I've heard, potentially from next week onwards. The rate of growth might be more moderate this year. In the past years, we've seen 20% or double-digit growth at least, depending on the different areas. But now the demand is going to be more selective. People are going to go for more, um, let's say, top-tier developers. There will be certain areas that we worry there might be oversupply in. All right. And like I said, there could be a downward pressure on the population if people do lose their jobs and move out of the city. So there will be a little bit of softening in prices that we're expecting this year. But like I said, it's still too soon, and we hope for the best, and we hope for this entire situation to resolve itself.
absolutely. Well, always opportunities. Like it's always also an opportunity, both for buyers, even real estate agencies.
100%.
And something obvious that you didn't mention, but it's just obvious, but also like there's not many places in the world that can compete with Dubai. And that in the long term as well, like eventually it's just they are limited and there's so many people. Yeah. Cool.
I'm sure,
Cool.
sure this will come back, and hopefully we'll see you in Dubai very, very soon. And
Absolutely. Absolutely.
we're gonna hopefully do more deals with Dubai. Buying with Drumelia as well. Make sure
Absolutely.
that
Absolutely.
our
Well,
find our clients because I'm sure many of them will potentially be looking at second homes, including myself.
ah, fantastic. Well, whenever you want,
All
I
right.
keep the conversation
Uh,
going. Farooq,
Thank you
was
so much,
really,
Arthur.
really
Thank you
nice
so
to
much.
see you. Has been
My
like,
pleasure. My pleasure. We should do
I'm
this often.
always super happy seeing you thriving online. I hope everything goes amazing with your business as always, and we stay in touch.
Thank you, Arthur. Thank you. Take care, man. See
All the
you.
best. Take care. Bye bye.
Oh, by the way,
Yes,
last thing.
sure.
Don't forget to like, subscribe to Familiar Real Estate. Guys, if you haven't done that, and of course my channel too.
And of course, Farouk's channel. Absolutely.
Take
How
care,
could we
man. See you.
forget?
Of course. Take care, man. Bye-bye.
All the best. Bye bye.